if you're trying to lose belly fat, stop doing cardio.
You know, I should have known something was suspect with that video. It was age restricted. It was age restricted, but he still had ads on it. So he must be working with whoever Raka Aka is, wherever the fuck his name is. That was such fucking bullshit, dude. I get copyright claimed and my stream gets blocked everywhere and you're a fucking YouTuber. I'm not stealing your video and mirroring it, you fucking douche. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry for saying any of that shit either. That's such fucking petty bullshit. That makes me just want to, like, put my videos into the algorithm. Like, if everyone's gonna be like that, I'm just gonna be a dick too. Yeah. You want to use any of my shit? Your shit's gonna get blocked. If that's how, like, that's what I'm talking about. Everyone's like, oh, Rich, you changed your opinion. Like, no, I didn't change my opinion from yesterday to today. It's exactly the same. The copyright system is fucking broken. That was just proof. But and on the flip side, though, if Pokimane is just sitting there watching something and barely commentating on it, that's not fair use. But that's proof what just happened right there. That fucking douchebag, it's so someone's reacting to your videos, and you're a straight up YouTuber too, from what I see. Let me look at his about. Ah, he has management. YouTube blacklisted him. He can't afford the PS5. Well, you're not, I could safely say you're not fucking blacklisted, bro. But that's the shit that fucking happens, man. And then you like, and then you have okay, so it's just blocked, but sometimes those streams, it's happened to other people. I think it's happened to me once, where it can turn into a strike. It gets overturned usually, but that's just how it is. I didn't even care about Filthy Frank or that video dropping the F-bomb. It is what it is. It didn't come out of my mouth. I'm gonna learn to live with it because it's everywhere. But you get fucking block my stream? Seriously? And you're not a mainstream media company? What the fuck is wrong with you? You're like, it's because you know how this shit works and you're being a part of it. And let me tell you something, the copyright system on YouTube is paradise compared to Twitch. It's fucking paradise compared to Twitch. It says supposedly I got a super chat and I'm not seeing it. Yeah, it's America's Funniest Home Videos, man. I remember seeing that on Sunday night before going to school. It's a long time ago. Because I had to take it down because it got blocked in all countries because I'm watching another YouTuber. So it means this stupid fucking manager has to be. I know it's kind of a presumption, and you're guilty. Your management company, you could do that. I could do that right now. Kind of tempts me to do that just so if everyone wants to be like this, I might as well be part of it. Oh, you want to use my content? You're going to get blocked. I know I sound like fucking, but I'm saying though, if that's how people are so petty, man. What, that you may have missed a dime out of your fucking revenue because I'm reacting to one of your fucking videos? Fuck off. Yeah, it's a good game still on there on PS3, but that's a rough version. That's probably the roughest version you could play. Arguably, you could say now the 360 version playing via backwards compatibility on the Series X is arguably the best version. I know you could mod the PC version, but... Yeah, dude, and I could see, fine, if I pulled a Pokey Man, or whatever the fuck you call her, and I'm watching some shit, and I'm not saying anything, so you're basically just a movie theater just sitting with me watching it, and I'm just collecting fucking super chats, or if I was on Twitch, bits, or whatever the fuck it is, then I get it. But that's proof right there. I'm not backing down. I didn't Rich of Tomorrow, in my opinion. The copyright system is broken. That is irrefutable evidence what just happened. You know? Like, but that's the thing. Like, these motherfuckers who are watching these, this, what is it called? Meta now? That's the genre where they're watching these heavily copyrighted TV shows where they have lawyer hawks all around them ready to DMC anybody. They're tempting fate because all you need is that one court case where you have a draconian judge be like, nope, fuck fair use. That is theft and you are not allowed to do it and everyone should be stricken down. That's it. 95% of the people that you watch would be done. They would be done. I agree more with the video today versus yesterday on Twitch. Streamers who abuse like Pokey and Asana are the reason rules are so... Yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah, what I failed to mention more so yesterday, Griffin, was that if she was just sitting there saying absolutely fucking nothing or next to nothing, no, that's not fair use. So my opinion didn't change. But they're tempted. They're basically tempting fate. That case is eventually going to happen, and it may either favor the creator or it's going to destroy them. It's just hasn't happened yet. It just hasn't happened yet. Give it time. It eventually will, and it'll either help what I do out or it'll destroy it. It's the gray area written into fair use and the weak-ass, old, antiquated DMCA that just barely allows for this shit to exist anyway. Bama yam yum. Bama ham yum. Hello, Griffin. Like, who thought that was... I mean, it is a good idea, though, because if you're a multi-millionaire YouTuber or Twitch streamer, like, here's how the cycle works. I'm kind of shocked I didn't think of this before someone else did, and that's I read it in the article. Like, yeah, that makes sense. They do something outrageous, it fabricates or manufactures drama. Sites like Dexerto and everyone else cover the drama. More people find out about you. And when you come back, you're going to profit more anyway from the drama because new eyes are going to be on your stuff. So it actually is in your best financial interest to push limits, unless you get straight up kicked off the platform. But they're not going to get kicked off. They're some of the biggest money makers for the platform, and they know that. But what's going to happen is that the smaller people are going to get fucked in the ass. It wouldn't even like I would be able to survive, even though I'm not on anyone who I mention's level. But Like, if you're like, even if you're just doing this as a side hustle or you're not even doing it as a hustle, like, why would you want to get fucked over? Because people blatantly just don't want to follow the rules because it benefits them not to. Oh, I'm Hassan Piker. My beard is perfectly trimmed. Let me just take a break for a few days, go buy a $150,000 car, and come back with more people watching me. So, Pokemon, go to the... Okay, I can't believe she fucking said that back in the... I like... That line alone, like, may have ruined Pokemon Go to the polls. My husband visited Jeffrey Epstein's Pinto Island way too many fucking times. Actually, let's keep it real. One time is too many. The main problem is Twitch will never ban larger content creators like Pokimane, so they know they can break the rules with minimal. Yeah, like if that was a smaller streamer, who did that multiple fucking times, they would have been gone already. They would have been gone. Their channel would have been nuked. Did you hear about the Twitch streamer that got banned or claimed for watching Gordon Ramsay videos live? But that was Hassan Piker, yeah. Unless it was another smaller creator. But Hassan Piker did it too. I would stream on Twitch if YouTube took a shit. I might start in some shit here and there on TikTok. Oh. Can I get an applause? You didn't realize it wasn't live. That's just... That's just fucking bullshit, man. Like, you know, like Viacom or ABC, if I tried to watch their stuff, fine, I get it. Whatever, I give up on it. I mean, it's arguable. You should be able to. Some people, like, not the way, like, Hassan and Pokemon, whatever the fuck her name is. I don't care. XQC, not the way they're doing it. But, really, you're another YouTuber and you're claiming your own shit like that? I know I sound like DSP even complaining about this, but it's just petty. Just petty. The fucking couple coins you're making. You know, now if I'm mirroring your videos, it's different. Yeah, I don't want people mirroring my shit either. I've taken down, like, people there. This used to happen back in the day. People would just straight up rip my videos. It wasn't even trolls. They were just people who were looking to fish people's. They would put my video up, skip it up and dud up, and then they would have a link to, like, some phishing website under it. So those I would report. But I don't give a fuck. How many hours a day does this on stream? Maybe I just need to, like, you know, let my hair actually be long and flowing and I don't know enough about him. Well, dude, there was a time where they, like, all these companies were at YouTube's throat, man. Especially when YouTube was new and people didn't know how to... I mean, dude, even the fucking gaming companies, they didn't want people using gameplay footage because they didn't get it yet. Technically, there's that's still... I mean, I don't really use gameplay footage at all in my videos anymore, so I'm losing zero sleep over it, but that's still up in the air. I guess in theory, the companies, if they wanted to, could strike down if you're using gameplay, and some companies do if it's a story-based game, but there's no court case to define that either. They just realize that people playing their games and streaming their games and making videos about their games is free fucking advertisement. You know? That's it. But there could be maybe there'll be a developer one day that's like, and there's a court case, and then the judge may drop that gavel and be like, nope, not fair use. Fuck you. And that's it. Not for me. So I'm not saying it to be doom and gloom because I'm trying to freak everyone out for me, but there's a lot of people that would fuck over. Like, Kappa, like, for me, it was nothing. I was losing zero fucking sleep. Yeah, Griffin, I heard about that. But there's a, like, Kappa was, it literally ruined people on YouTube. I saw, like, YouTube, I guess the algorithm, because I watched a couple of the goodbye videos. There's a lot of people that were making children's content who were like 20, 30,000 subs. They're like, goodbye, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Kappa killed me. Kappa being enacted on YouTube in full effect. It was really like, it wasn't a big deal for people that you may watch, but it destroyed some people. You know? Thoughts on Tim Pool getting swatted? That's not okay. I don't care who it is. I don't like Tim Pool, but that's not... You're putting someone's life at risk with that. Yeah, Rockstar used to be pretty draconian with their shit, man. Rockstar used to be real draconian with their stuff. Everyone was. I actually couldn't get partnered initially because I had gameplay. I had to delete all of my videos with gameplay. That's why for a while, because it was so fucking strict in the beginning. That's like, it's weird in some ways. YouTube is more lax now than it used to be. I used to have to upload because I didn't have a camera yet, or it was like a cheap shit webcam, which probably would have been better than doing what I was doing. And I would just have black and white text and just talk because you couldn't show anything. It was weird, man. The other side doesn't want it to go to court because if the judge sided with the content creator, that's it too. Or the judge maybe wouldn't side with the content creator and it would destroy almost all of the shit on this fucking platform. It could go either way. So until that case happens, it's going to be a game of... It's going to be just a giant fucking gray area. And it's annoying. Yeah, I heard about Bob Saget. It's sad. He was in a hotel, too. In 2010, I had the second largest entertainment channel in Canada, and my channel had pirated anime shows, and I got partnered. Meanwhile, people like Rich were denied. Yeah. I was denied I was actually just going to say fuck it and just focus on that guy with the glasses. That would have been a bad fucking decision. Well, unless you're a collector, 99% of the games are on the Switch. You do realize that, right? Minus Twilight Princess HD. I can't think of anything else. I'm sure there's another one I'm not thinking of, but... So, unless you're a hardcore collector, which maybe you are at that point, that's fine. I would kind of just buy a Switch. Blistered thumbs, man. Yeah. That's why technically at the time, Joe was my boss. Angry Joe. Possibly. Dude, I'm so fucking nervous with it. We're going to do stuff, obviously. Like, I just paid, like I said, I paid my editor. He edited out the titties in Samurai Cop. The reason I don't want to show that yet, though, I may have a friend of mine joining me. I don't know yet, though. So I'm going to hold off. It's done. He gave me the link for it. Man, that content cop with Keemstar, that was how many videos? 32 million views. 32 fucking million views, man. That is insane. That is a lot of fucking viewership for one video. Rich, why PS5 has Spotify or Sony allowed streamers to play music while they were doing live streaming on Twitch or using Spotify is... What is the last thing? Using Spotify's leg? You're using Spotify in your leg? How does that work? I know I'm kidding. Yeah, I actually gotta get that shit going soon, because isn't it like by January 22nd with the Wii U that they're shutting down the shop? So I want to get some shit before they shut it down. I don't get, dude. It's just, dude, copyright everywhere is just a fucking minefield. You have no idea what you like. Things you think you can't. Like, I never thought watching another YouTuber's fucking video, like maybe a claim, maybe limited ads, but it's demonetized. Like you're not demonetized. It's blocked. I am waiting for all the games. I ordered all of the launch games for the Wii U. Those should be coming this week. I think the movie, dude, it's like an indie film, and I don't think, well, if someone has a copyright on it, I don't think they care, because people, they want to make money. It's legendary because it's so bad. It's kind of like when JonTron reviewed that movie about birds. I'm sure that guy made money off of that shit. You know, so I don't think they care. Managed to stop a scalper who tried to get 7 PS5 notice. All 7 orders had the same car listed to their drive up, only gave him 1 PS, and he was probably pissed. He probably thought he won a mini lottery ticket right there, and you fucked him. No, it's not normal to have that many problems with games. What was it doing, Morning Glory? Nah, you shouldn't be having that many problems, man. So, yeah, that stream's gonna... I would stream that tonight, but I want to wait until... But I may have to use the little boys' room, so I'm going to actually go do that. And then I'll be back. Probably going to go grab some coffee, too. Here. Enjoy some birds. We'll do something different tonight. Well, not different. This is actually not different at all. No, I gotta take a shit. Birdemic may be another... Birdemic, that's what it's called. So no. You shouldn't be having problems with games to that degree. That's kind of strange. Sounds like what's happening before I even say anything. I mean, it's still, my guess will be vague because literally anything with computers. I didn't take a dump. I just peed. That was not, I didn't have to shit. I thought I was going to have to shit, but that was a lie. That was an absolute lie. So it was interesting. I was seeing Low Spec Gamer is basically what Low Spec Gamer said in his video, the end of Low Spec. Basically he had straight up admitted that the Steam Deck is killing the concept of his channel. Yeah, David Hicks, you've been a member for a long time. Dude, but Solid Crusader, but that's the problem. And then, like, you know, oh, the Game Awards, don't worry, you could stream it. Oh, wow, you have 67 fucking claims against your live stream. No, that's not being able to stream it. Like, okay, I'm not going to get a strike. Or my stream's not going to... Actually, my stream for the Game Awards was blocked. Like, thanks, Jeff. So thank you, David Hicks, for being a member for 7 months. Dude, yeah, I mean, JCS, that's another perfect example. He got 2 of his videos taken down. I was actually surprised he never gotten anything taken down. But it's a shame. Those videos probably take... Oh, I'm sure Jeff Keighley is a nice dude. And I'm sure it's not his fault that those claims happen, but they do fucking happen and they do fucking piss me off. It's just such a, like, you know, and again, if I was just sitting there saying absolutely nothing, fine. But, like, I would love to watch, like, Tim and Eric shit with you guys. There's no, and I know how, I've seen Tim Heidecker's take on that stuff, and he is not okay with it. Like, he is, like, he's on board with the claims and shit of his stuff. So, okay, that's cool. That's, like, your opinion, man, and hey, the law kind of backs you up on it, so you have the right to do it. Regular car reviews I could watch, yeah. That I could do. Unless he has shit claimed too. Offer, what do they want? If someone wants to buy my ads, kick a rock. You can watch regular. Oh, I thought you sent something. All right, that's fine. We could watch regular cars. Regular car reviews, unless he has claims again. I don't think he would have. He's not a douche. 6 days ago. All right, Jeep Gladiator. I'll bite.
Do you?
Let me make the stream. Ask Jank from his TYT stream. Did you really ask him? What did he say? Oh God. Oh, God. No, GH5. Got to shrink you down, son. Oh, this video has been blocked in 67 countries. Thank you. No, I don't think.
Do you feel embarrassed because you never served? Do you feel shame every Memorial Day? Well, buy a Jeep Gladiator and let's visit the...
Yes, those are actually quite good. Some of those I bet you are fucking claimed, though. Because what happens is that management companies buy those clips because they know they're viral and they know there's a lot of money in them. And what they do a lot of times is they'll buy them from the person who, and then they have the rights to them. And then if anyone tries to restream them or whatever, they'll block them, or they'll claim the video and make money off of it. So I'm not sure what country prime minister got caught taking money illegally for decorating. What the fuck? In what country are you from, man? I'm sorry, I apologize for being ignorant with that. Xbox document, maybe. UK, okay. My YouTube app on my PS4 Pro crashes my system. Sometimes it never happened on my PS4 Slim. I don't know. Nothing. Do games? If games don't do it, did you try reinstalling the app and see? Remember when Metallica got claimed by themselves? No, but I believe it. And they jerk off to this system. At least, look. I'm not saying like the shit that happened with like Napster was sustainable and it should just be the Wild West and everyone should just pirate music. Okay, that's the UK. I apologize. I was ignorant towards that. But, you know, I don't know. Intellectual property is such a fucking eggshell of a topic. If you haven't already, you should check out the AIDS Diet Candy commercial from the... AIDS Diet Candy? No. Stop. I think I've heard of that before. It's like ringing a bell in my head, actually.
Land of make-believe. Remember Willie's? Remember war? Congratulations! You're ready for war! Remember Willie's Overland? They made the Jeep! They won the war again!
No, it was Bantam that made the Jeep, and they won the war again.
War in my headlights, war in my cup holders, war in my startup screen.
Nah. I'm not really a fan of his stuff, man. I've watched some before. It's not my thing.
When war is on a bagel, you can have atrocities anytime. Buy a Jeep Gladiator and prove you are better than everybody who said your small dick is tiny.
Yeah, it's kind of a copy. G.I. Joe redubs are great. Stop all the downloading.
I thought about dignity in the workplace one time.
There's a lot of redubs. There's some He-Man redubs, too, that are pretty amazing.
So I soaked the sponge in hand sanitizer and shoved it up my ass.
I just did that before I started the stream. Thank you, Gabriel.
Clean rectum, clean thoughts.
My shifter is extra chunky, and the position release is red, because I'm gonna launch a missile from my Jeep, which is now an F-22. I know everything about an F-22. I love military aircraft. Now, I'm going to tell you my top 5 military aircraft. Number 5, CH-53 Sea Stallion. Number 4, F-8F Bearcat. Number 3, FA-18 Hornet. Number 2, B-25 Mitchell. And number 1, the P-40 Thunderbolt. This is a lovely first date. I'm having a good time. Now I'm going to tell you about my favorite trains.
2021 Jeep Russell Crowe. Don't think truck, think convertible with a bed. Every roof section slightly moves, making a rubbing sound. There isn't much insulation or sound deadening in roof sections, so you'll hear the rain louder than a traditional cab truck. These aggressive tires on the road go like this.
Yeah, pretty much.
Please think convertible, because it is. Just think convertible. Like the TJ Jeep, if you don't expect too much, you won't be let down. The wheelbase is too long to clear humps, so you gotta lift it further. The non-standard bed isn't useful for building materials. But if your Jeep needs are moving boxes, hauling unpowered boats, fishing, meaning coolers of beer,
in case you didn't know it was 4-wheel drive,
and hunting...
Do they make rear-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive only Jeeps? I don't even think so.
You'll be fine. In fact, the owner said to me that the bed of this Gladiator will hold a buck if you fold it in half like a beach towel. Want to take the doors off? Well, it's a modern Jeep. It has power windows and power mirrors, so you have to undo this wiring harness as well. The rubber hood bumpers are still here, so you can still put the windshield
So it's a royal pain in the ass to take off the side doors, is what he's saying.
down. You'll need tools.
Oh, there is a rear. Okay.
but you
I thought they only made them four-wheel drive.
can lower it. And then when you put the windshield back up, you'll have parts left over. During the shoot, I kept calling this the Renegade. These Jeep flavors are just starting to blend together. Is it ever the car's fault when someone is a jerk?
Yeah, they're like Call of Dutying the Jeep Wrangler.
It always feels like there have been two
Yeah, I'm sorry, the Jeep Gladiator.
camps. People who blame a person's behavior on the attitudes a car might encourage, and those who understand that a car doesn't make anybody act a certain way, it simply unlocks the ability for them to be more themselves. To put it
Be more of a douche, you mean?
in a really plain way, that ZL1 didn't encourage you to cut people off all over Route 100, bag of oversalted fries on the passenger seat, and a pair of polarized aviators on a face that don't seem to care that it's 11:30 at night. No, you got the ZL1 because that's the kind of person you always had a mind towards being. You just couldn't go this fast before. The Jeep Gladiator didn't turn you into a person whose personal mission is to make
Why, that thing is
the
fast?
gym lose as much money on you as possible. A Jeep Gladiator didn't force you to make a pass at her mother, and now you have to update your bodily resume before getting back onto the scene. A Jeep Gladiator is performative excess, like a garbage can pizza or Matthew Lesko's suit.
Yes, I know, and I made a comment that I didn't, which is strange because yesterday I said it correctly too, so I have no idea what fucking I was on today, and I was on nothing, so that's not the issue.
Gladiator. If a failed public proposal was a car, it's a car that seems in no way certain of itself or its identity. Come reclaim the
So you're buying it for form, and not function, is what he's
big
saying.
dick energy that never existed in the first place. People like to talk about toxic masculinity as a thing that oppresses women. And that's true. It does. But it also messes with dudes' heads. It keeps them emotionally backed up, forced to express themselves in other ways because they don't actually get the chance to address their issues directly. Like that 60-year-old guy, that 60-year-old...
Yes, I have watched it, or any of the videos on there. I have watched it already, Eric. I have watched it, a few of them with the audience.
property-owning, well-off man who stole from Whistle and Diesel. That dude had issues, and he wasn't addressing, and his act of just ripping someone, like, trust...
Yeah, I'd rather have an action. If I was gonna buy that, I would either buy a pickup truck or you just buy a Wrangler. Like, why would I don't know? But it looks cool. I like the color.
Thing and being a thief was the result of unprocessed. I don't know. That dude needed therapy. I hope he gets it. Jeep Gladiator. It's like having someone eat a bunch of prunes and then saying, "Don't use the bathroom. Real men don't need to." It's that self-destructive behavior.
Yeah, pretty much. He probably pissed off a bunch of people by. I guarantee you, a bunch of fucking dudes were like, "Bruh, I'm unsubscribing cars." You know.
Behavior that says, you can't pee because then you break the seal and then you'll be peeing all night. Dude, you just had 5 beers. Either pee now or get kidney stones later. So instead of just trying to be a good person, instead of just trying to be the best version of what type of dude they are, they get this idea of some sort of arbitrary real man template that they can aspire towards out of a need to compensate for everything they're not, rather than celebrating what they are. Of course, insecurity isn't why the Jeep Gladiator is popular among the people who like it, although its appeal as a rugged mid-size offering for people who don't want a truck certainly seems like a selling point. On its introduction, this was offered as a mid-size truck equipped for towing and off-roading and...
What engine does this thing have? Does it have a 6 in it, I'm assuming? Jeep Brutes, legit same concept, but made by a third part, made for Dodge or Jeep, I should say. I haven't watched the Ross Creations.
For those purposes...
V6, yeah, V6 is what I thought.
It makes sense. It's not a construction vehicle. Although I sense people are buying these things so they can show up at the job site and not get made fun of. I suspect there's a
Probably
0% chance of people who buy Jeeps just to fit in. But as a daily driver, or even as a car for something as frivolous like tailgating, it makes less and less sense as you go along. You have a very uneven highway driving experience relative to other cars in its class. In the midsize pickup truck category, US News ranked the 2020 model in last place, below the Chevy
Jesus.
Colorado and even the Nissan Frontier.
Oh, God. And Nissan. They take Jeep Rubicons and completely rebuild it. Okay. I'll have to check them out.
But for its sales, it actually increased year over year, to where I don't think whatever stigma might attach itself to the Gladiator stuck. On one hand, it had a lot of hype to live up to as America's last manual transmission pickup. On the other, it seems like it still manages to appeal to consumers in such a way that any negatives are overwhelmed by what it actually does offer. Physical or emotional. Yes, I suppose it is. Maneuverable over a variety of terrains. It does have a 4,000-pound towing capacity that can reach as high as 7,650 pounds on the sport trim. And the Wrangler...
Wow, why so much for the sport trim? What are they doing? More rigid or bigger engine? Or I drive a Fiat, because Fiat owns Dodge now, doesn't it? I drive a Fiat 500C. I have no shame with my Italian car, even in truck-dominated Texas. Oh, I think I've driven like a Fiat once before.
Adjacent styling, because Jeep knows which side its bread is buttered. In particular, this follows styling cues from the Wrangler JL model, while encouraging nostalgia for the original Gladiator, which lasted from 1962 to 1988. This is Jeep's first pickup since the death of the Comanche in 1992. So in a way, this vehicle is long overdue. The standard V6 engine, there's nothing to care about. I don't give a crap. It's a 3.0.
The best Jeep engine was the 4-liter inline 6. Yes, the car would rust around it before that engine gave out. For low controlled RPM torque when crawling over large rocks and ultra steep incline hills. I was into extreme off-roading, and my dad and his CJ7. Did you have, which Jeep did you have? A Wrangler? Or did you have, they had the Jeep Cherokee at the time, I think had the same engine. Yeah, I would get a small pickup over this too. Either get the Wrangler or get a pickup. Not this.
6
I like the color, that's about
liter,
it.
285 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. I feel none of that, and I wish this was a 6-speed manual, but this is the more expensive automatic option. It's $2,000 more, and you get 8 speeds. You'll find no judgment here, I suppose. Odds are if you're getting a Jeep Gladiator, you're good for the money. And the automatic transmission is the only way to get the 3-liter turbo diesel.
I wonder if that automatic transmission searches all over the place for gears, though. I remember they used to do that.
That's also a V6, and it makes 260 horsepower, but a healthy 442 pound-feet of torque. Granted,
Damn.
this engine is also an extra $4,000, so it's definitely going to make your wallet throb. Jeep Gladiator, for a husband whose favorite pastime is imagining arguments he can win. Jeep Gladiator, for the wife who says, "You will address me by my husband's rank." His wife saw the phrase, "If I'm too much, then go for
You will address me by my husband's rank. You know those women really exist. God, I can't wait to watch that Samurai Cop video, but I'm happy watching these, though.
find less.
You know what's funny is I discovered Mr. Regular, a buddy of mine I used to work with. He's like, if you were a car reviewer, you'd be this guy. And then I watched him like, you're 110% correct. That is true.
Printed on a shirt, and now it's the only comeback she ever uses. The Jeep brand remains...
Yeah, that thing will last you forever, man. Just take care of it. Give it regular oil changes. Don't have sex with it like that one person who actually was physically attracted to their car and they were on a TV show. Yeah, and Beagle Boy, I know I answered you before, but you're not 100% correct. You're 200%. Get a small pickup. Either that or get the actual Wrangler and fuck this thing. I do like, again, I would get one I would get a Wrangler in this color, a 4-door one though, because I have kids.
Organized under an identity of passive aggression. That you can be viewed as an...
People of Warmer will be a thing, but dude, here's the problem though. I'm gonna have to vet the shit first. I can't keep taking down fucking streams. That the whole reason I moved to this channel is so I don't have to unlist streams, so I don't have to take them down, so I don't have to do anything. But if stupid shit like that's gonna happen, I'm gonna have to vet the fucking videos.
Adventurous, bold personality while simultaneously not having to do much to
And Beal, it's not your fault, by the way. I hope I didn't insinuate that before. It's not on you. You didn't know.
live up to it. But then why should you? To find your personality contextualized in terms of your car and a brand's history of suburban adventure is to discover
Yeah, I know Bob Saget died. It sucks.
the oppression of the self. No one who sees you driving a Jeep product actually expects you to spend your weekends off-roading or camping beneath a communion wafer.
Yeah, literally 0 people actually expect that from you. We took a 94 Wrangler 4.0 liter and dropped it into a 1984 Jeep C and had it professionally bored and stroked, reinforced axles. Holy shit. And what's that experience? I would love to experience that. Holy fuck. I have a small car to compensate for my huge penis. Major League Gamer. Siderico is getting drunk, and I popped another THC capsule before I started streaming because, according to anti-vaxxers that I know, I get stoned and spew perversion. And you know what I said to them? You're fucking right that I do.
Just as no one who sees you in this truck will expect
You
you
will, Pinto. You just read my mind, bro. The Pinto one after
to be
this.
aggressive about how you handle it. A car is nothing more than what you bring to it. So bring something worth leaving behind.
Look, I'm not going to say that my Christmas was perfect, but my girlfriend is vowing to make me an AMC shirt with her cricket. What's a cricket? Very good question. Happy New Year, everyone.
The fuck are you talking about? Hey, God damn it! Where's the Pinto? Where's the... Ah, here it is. There's my... Oh, hey, look, it's... Oh, Geraldo, that is a hell of a mustache there. Birds. 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 I love those birds. I watched part of this. Birds. They lay those fucking turds. Your sister said birds aren't real. Seggy Melons. I was trying to contact you on Discord, I believe. So hit me up on like Facebook Messenger or something. What are we doing right now? I said I want Wings to dance with me to that song over Zoom. I'll do it. I'm not even gaslighting him. I'm dead ass that I'll do it. Enter to win this 350 horsepower Mazda Speed 3 at whynotYouGear.com. Deadline to enter is December 22nd, so you're fucked.
Our giveaway car for 350
So I'm not reviewing. I'm watching other people's review. Oh, yeah, I think he did do the Baja.
horsepower Mazda Speed 3 ends this Wednesday. Click the link in the description and don't miss out. Hot mug, hot hatch.
Watch Doug like the cartoon, Abby. My dream car is a VW to Tiguan. Oh, the SUV. Those look pretty nice. They do.
But the roots of this Mazda Ford 2.3-liter engine go back 40 years. Ford started experimenting with overseas...
Oh, Doug. Oh, Doug. I thought you meant Doug like the cartoon. What the fuck? Holy sh... I am off to... Naruto, The Last Airbender. Doug, the cartoon from Nickelodeon, I think. Like, what is... I am. That other capsule is kicking in. What lovely. Right, birds? I'm not going to play any music again, birds, so I tricked you. I have to now install like 4 terabytes of games again on the Neo Pro Retro, birds, because I'm a fucking idiot. Birds! Think no engine governor, double the output, and lowering gear, and a lower gearing and a lot of offline G-force. That 4-liter can scream. So you take it off-roading, right? And that's what you're using it for. Be interesting to see. You should put some dude. You'd probably you'd make bank on YouTube videos of that thing. You would make bank. I'm serious. Hey, Rich, YouTube advice. There is some. I daily approached our 2006 BMW 325i. I bet it's twice as reliable as anything Chrysler is making today. Their quality has went. I used to have, until very recently, a Dodge Durango. It was pretty good. I didn't have any issues with it. New season of Righteous Gemstones. I don't even know what the fuck that is. So you got to remember, I'm a boomer, man. Who's butt chugging stuff? Didn't people used to drink alcohol through their assholes to get drunk quicker and ended up killing them? Play Bed Bananas, the modded Wakey West if you can. What? That sounds like a weird porn. What the fuck are you trying to get me to play? Everyone type... No, why is everyone typing this? What is Arcane on Netflix? Weren't people vaping alcohol too and they got them really fucked up? Like, just, you know what you do with alcohol? You drink it.
These 4-cylinder engines as early as 1970. The Mazda Speed 3 wouldn't exist without the Ford Pinto. Load up a XXX film on 16 millimeter, drink spiced wine out of a goat bladder.
What? Drink spiced wine out of a... Yo, that car... it was ugly even for its day, man.
And openly sniff snow in a school board meeting. It's a 1977 Ford Pinto.
I don't know if I've ever had... I think I've had whiskey.
Pinto Squire. This is a 2-door...
The wood side panel. The fucking Atari, the 6-switch Woody. Like, wood was I don't know why wood was considered, like, suave and debonair.
Door wagon. And here it is. The connection between the Mazda Speed 3 and the Ford Pinto. This is the original. This is Genesis. This is the 2.3 Lima engine. AK.
God, that is a clean Pinto. I didn't even think you had a, like...
the T88.
Someone loves this Pinto. It's like loving a turd.
AKA the Ford Metric. AKA the Euro engine. Here it is. All that choo-choo Subaru fighting, Evo hunting power, it begins here. This engine is Elder Scrolls Arena. And you wouldn't believe that this modern hatchback and this 1970...
And it's like banana yellow. Yo, that is like, that's its... I'm sure he refinished it or repainted it, but that was like its original color. Here's this banana yellow car with wood trim. Go fuck yourself.
'70s wagon thing are related. You wouldn't believe that. Because this thing is slow. Yeah,
yeah, dude, cars 70s and early 80s, especially with the new emissions standards, like they didn't understand how to make cars work with them yet, so they had they just gimped them. Fucking there was some car I saw it on where it was like 0 to 60 in like literally 20 seconds. No, 30 seconds. It was some GM, and I saw it on Motor Week, and 0 to 60 in 30 fucking seconds. 30 fucking seconds. You can't even get on the highway. If you had that car, you couldn't. Like, people on bicycles are fucking flying past you. No, it wasn't an AMC. AMC Pacer, Abby, may be just as slow. No, it was definitely a GM car. I'm telling you. It's my dad's Jeep. He knows vehicles better, but I helped him build it for off-roading. We need to rebuild it again and put on a new, but that is fucking nuts, dude. And I bet what is the body, like the frame get fucked up after a while because you're going off-roading. It's like bending it all over.
Pintos blew up from butt stuff because they can't go fast enough to ram anything head on. Pedal down, and there's no acceleration. There's nothing here.
Of course, look at that interior, too. You go from the banana yellow outside to the orange peel fucking inside.
They called this the Ford Select Shift. That means you can select how disappointed you are. It has 3 speeds. Useless? Huh? And come on, man. This thing accelerates slower than a Plymouth from the 1950s. Maybe a Pinto is faster than a Beetle, and it's faster than a Chevette.
Yes, I think it was the Chevette, but there was a Pontiac version of the Chevette. That was their badge engineering. 30 fucking seconds. 30 seconds. 30 seconds to go to 60.
At least. I think it's faster than a Ford Courier. Anything smaller than an Impala back then was advertised as having sporty European...
I think it was the Pontiac 1000. Yeah, I actually flipped a Jeep Grand Cherokee when I was 17. I didn't get a scratch, though, because I had a seatbelt on. Totaled it, too. Neither did my passenger. Both seatbelts work, kids.
Handling. This is sporty European handle.
God, you could like fucking swing the wheel all the way around, still goes straight. Good luck dodging something or doing a quick maneuver in that thing. Also, too, if you get rear-ended, you're going to explode and die.
You blew it. You blew it.
Oh, ooh. I didn't mean that up. No pun intended. Ah, yeah. Gotcha, Scootaloo. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Once you get going, it's not so bad.
Still going straight.
That rack and pinion steering is
Oh, this has a rack in it.
it does, yeah.
Wow. Remember in the early 1990s when every program that came on a CD-ROM had the word interactive on the box?
Yes.
Yeah. Same marketing fluff going on here. A Ford Pinto handles like a beanbag. Ford Pinto handles like an inflatable mattress in the common area of your dorm.
He's going to punch himself in the balls if he keeps on turning that wheel that
Ford
much.
Pinto handles like a playground spring horse. It handles like F-A-T.
Good.
I-T-I-E-S. Driving a Pinto wagon today is more of an experience, or it's a display of intentionally looking so uncool, your automotive fashion just comes right back around again.
That's a Subaru XT, beautiful car, very 80s. Ah, yeah, I've seen it. Didn't it have like that weird back window where like it was like a windowception thing? If I remember correctly.
It's driving a Ford Pinto is like playing a Ford AA battery green and black screen original
Look at that interior. How was that even good looking back in like the late 70s?
Game Boy on an aisle seat on a Delta regional flight. Maybe you're wearing a Nintendo Power shirt while you do it just to make your point. Yeah, I know what I'm about. Yeah.
Those seats actually look kind of comfortable though. Those look like those would be nice and fluffy on my ass cheeks. Yes, we'll watch that. I know. I think we could. Hopefully, Motor Week doesn't ass fuck me. I think this is what we need. We need me. I'll show Wings. I'll show you, man. I'm not gaslighting you. Watch. Look, man, come on. Dance with me, Wings. On a Zoom call. We'll even wear vests like DSP. Get the birds going, too. The birds. There are the birds. We got the birds. Come on, man. Me and Wings dancing to this song. There we go. Come on, like this. Like, dude, look at my hips, baby. Come on. Come on, Jordan. Gotta find it. Damn it. Where is it?
Look here! Look, listen!
Come on, Wings. Okay. Moonshape, we'll check that out next. I have no idea what the fuck just happened right there, but Wings, we're dancing to that song.
Look, we're cruising in a Pinto. Maybe we'll make it. And this Pinto has 30,000 miles. Here's Kevin talking.
Where the fuck did you find this thing? You're welcome, Brandon. Where the fuck do you find this?
About
how did you find a Pinto so mint? Obviously, I'm sure he did work on it. I'm not an idiot, but
how he found it.
And if you did work on it, why? Sorry. Here, let's go back a little bit so you can see that. Look at that interior. XT had many. Yes, that was in the. They actually had some. I think it was GM. I think they did that with Oldsmobile. There's a name that's long dead. Where they had like touchscreen CRTs back in the day because why not?
Yeah. Look, we're cruising in a Pinto. Maybe we'll make it. And this Pinto has
Look at that
30,000 miles.
That's what I'm saying. Like, either way, it's... I mean, hey, respect to the guy. It's nice to preserve history like this, but, thank you for loving me so much. We gotta... I'm telling you, we gotta get Wings to... I'm only gonna put it on for a second. Yeah, because they didn't have as many safety features, man. So if there was like Richard, if you remember like the K cars when Lee Iacocca, I believe is his name, when he was head of Dodge, like they were just giant, like the luxury cars that they just threw a giant fucking couch in there. Who cares about safety? At least you're comfortable when you're fucking getting your body split in half in a head-on collision. Hey, Rich, is having cloud gaming and Game Pass enough to sway you to Xbox over Sony? No. And do you agree with Colt Eastwood saying that Sony is getting left? They're getting left behind as a service, but in terms of them getting left behind, and they're outselling by a significant margin the Xbox consoles right now. But the Xbox consoles are great.
Here's Kevin talking about how he found it.
I found it.
I want Phil to dance to this song too.
Down in Virginia, actually, at a used car dealership. They actually had it there for over a year, and nobody wanted it. And so they put it on eBay,
I'm shocked.
and that's where I got it. They only knew it was a one-owner car, and I have proof of that. And it was sold new in California, and I guess he drove it cross country.
Wait, stop. You did minimal work on that thing?
Moved to Virginia, and that's where it was its whole life, and now it's here in PA. All I know is his name was David, I think, and he only put 26,000 miles on his Pinto for however long he owned it, which was, I guess, 40.
How many bodies did this guy David put behind that thing?
42 years.
It's just such a, like, that's a car that a genuinely creepy person owns and preserves.
Original owner.
Not this guy, not knocking him, but
Yeah, original owner. Yep.
I would probably go to this creepy man David and be like, yo, that's a Pinto in that good of shape. Just out of the fact of the absurdity of it, I may buy it from you. The Pinto luxury compared to Dodge Viper basically like just shoves a chair up your ass when you sat in it.
I would like to eventually reach out to his family if I can, find out who they are and just tell them, his car's still around. It's being taken care of as much as I.
That guy does not look like looking. He's very nervous looking at the camera. It's got to be awkward though. Imagine just like, all right, say stuff about your car. No pressure though. Bill, what about Jeffrey Epstein? Well, he's dead.
I can.
I've been in a Pinto once in my life.
What sort of stuff did it need when you
Intro
bought it?
guy's family owned
Nothing.
one.
I just did a little bit of carb tuning and I just changed the oil.
Oh, stop. That thing was in that shape when you... That makes the real owner of this even creepier. Like, what? How?
Car running.
Did he put it in a time machine?
It's great. I do want to keep it as original as I can.
True.
So it's still got all the California emission stuff on it, which makes it slower. But
Tell me how this behaves on the
Makes it slower.
highway.
surprisingly well. I've actually gotten it up to like 80, 81 was my top speed.
You
in
got this thing into 80.
Yeah, on a down.
You got it to 80. How much shit was coming out of your asshole as you were going 80 in a Pinto? Yeah, dude, some of those 80s cars, man, that was like they were comfortable as fuck. Not safe at all, but
Downhill, on a downhill.
Alright.
Yep. But it'll get up to like 60 pretty easily. We were doing like 65 the whole way here.
Okay.
so you were doing the bare minimum you should be doing on a highway. Good.
Uphills are obviously a challenge. Gotta use my flashers pretty often.
Oh, okay.
If it's really
so
steep.
when we're out on the highway filming this, we may need to flash.
Maybe. It's only if there's like someone going slow in front of you, and then you can't keep the momentum.
Is it?
up.
Yeah, it's just a 3-speed down
Yep,
here.
just a 3-speed select shift.
What's the longest I've ran a laptop? I have no idea. I don't think that long. No, that's not true. I had when I was a kid. Not a kid. No, not kid. In my early 20s, when I was going to school, my dad got a Pentium 3 laptop, and I milked that thing for like 5 years. I used to produce music on that thing.
What do they mean select shift?
I guess you can just select 1 and 2 if you want, but I mean,
God, look at that shifter.
yeah, it's
Look at that
Oh,
thing.
this is the same piece
It's
that
ridiculous.
was in the Mustangs going back to the 60s.
What did they have, like a Core 2 Duo in it? Or was it what did they call them, a Core Duo before a Core 2 Duo?
yeah.
I know they had the Pentium D, which was a dual core shit, but
It is there.
There it
I wonder
is.
if this is the exact. Oh, look at that. I wonder if this is the exact same pieces that Ford just used all the way back to the early 60s. Is this AM radio only?
Just AM. Yep.
Nice.
No power steering, which is kind of weird because this car it's the Squire package, which was like the top trim. It has all the wood
the top trim. I got the top trim top trim Pinto.
paneling and all the nice trim in here, but he didn't get like any other options. He got an automatic and AM radio.
Huh.
No power steering. Let's see what else.
No air conditioning. There can't be air conditioning. I could see the selection. There is no air.
Don't need any of that. No AC, just a fan.
This was available with air conditioning?
Yes.
Oh, how slow would
Oh man, probably killed the horsepower. Probably killed the acceleration even more.
that be?
Ooh, very slow.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad it doesn't have it because, well, I mean, it would be nice in the summer. But
Oh, yeah.
as long as you don't have to take it on the
Do
highway.
these rear windows pop?
Yes, they do. Yep. Let's see if I can.
God, even the lining on the top, usually that comes down and starts to look like big giant titties. He doesn't have the titty effect in there. Wow.
There's a lot of space back here.
Yeah, it's surprisingly roomy.
Have you used this car for any sort of like utility stuff outside of
Not yet. I would like to eventually.
Yeah, my dad had a, I forgot what he had. I think it may be a Pontiac. It was a, what are they called? Station wagon. It had the titty effect.
What I really want to do is replicate this old ad where they put like a Christmas tree on top of the Pinto, and it said put a Pinto under your tree. And I thought that was kind of clever.
Do that brings back memories. What, that kind of look in the back where the windows, you had to open them up with the, yeah.
So what I really want to do is get a tree and put it on the roof and like recreate that ad.
Nice.
But
So just scratch up this mint Pinto.
cool. A little afraid of scratching the paint, but
Yeah.
One of the oldest
You read my mind.
phrases in modern vernacular is about someone's reputation preceding them. The concepts of your
Holy farts. I don't like LA Noir, Connor. I've tried it. It's not my It's not my cup of horse.
it's being known so far and so wide.
Switch sold more than the Wii. That actually is kind of newsworthy to me. I've tried to stay away from talking about sales because I know it gets stale. But that's a big fucking deal. So that's probably going to be a video for tomorrow.
That people come to a decision about you long before you've
Because until now, that was Nintendo's best-selling home console. It's pretty nuts, man. Because the Switch still is technically considered their home console.
ever shaken their hand. It's a phrase that seems tailor-made for the Ford Pinto. A car that casts a shadow longer than its 163 inches. This was Ford's very first subcompact. Now we can talk about the Falcon, and we can even talk about McNamara's plan to build the Cardinal that never happened.
Even my wife bought a Switch, not a gamer at all. Well, because it's a nice, especially the light, it's an entry point to a huge library of games and AAA games, not just from Nintendo on the go. Limited hardware or not, they're making miracles happen on the thing still.
And this car had a brief life as a Mercury vehicle as well when it was rebadged as a Bobcat. Named after white patched horses, the Pinto was an appealing little car in the early age of the import craze and the struggle of American automakers to keep pace. But the Pinto is a unique case in the sense that even if its reputation as a fire trap is undeserved, and there are people who will argue that,
I thought the whole thing with them is that Ford tried to sweep under the rug how much of death traps those things are because where the gas tank was. I have to look into it. I don't know, but I'm sure he knows more about that than me.
still a tale of bad ideas and cut corners. This all started in the late 60s, when Lee Iacocca was president of Ford. He recognized that imports were beginning to take hold stateside, with cars like the Beetle, Corolla, and Datsun 510 cutting into the market share of American alternatives like the Falcon
I don't like LA Noir. I've tried it.
and the Maverick. The Ford
Not my-
Cortina offered a captive import brought over from Ford's European division, but it wasn't
And yo, that man, no airbag, that thin wheel, it's death trap, but it's a different time though. There wasn't the same regulations back then.
the same as actually tailoring a subcompact to the American market. And so Iacocca laid out the specs. The car had to weigh less than 2,000 pounds, cost less than $2,000, which is about $14,000 today, and
Inflation.
Iacocca wanted it out quick, which meant the final design would be locked in early and remain mostly unchanged to prevent delays. Some guys don't have enough people who love them enough to tell them no, whereas some guys have so many people telling them no that by their very congregation, they're compelled to do the opposite. The Mustang had earned Iacocca the benefit of doubt on future decision-making, but that's not the same as actually having a good idea. Of course, we don't know
There was an all-wheel drive Pinto. Why are they showing it in the snow?
what amount of pushback the Pinto received internally, only that the decision to rush the schedule would have far-reaching consequences. Released on September 11th, 1970 for the 1971 model year, the Pinto took just 25 months from idea to fruition. This was the
Oof, that's quick.
shortest turnaround in automotive production history at the time, beating the 43-month average for production cars. The rush schedule meant the Pinto was exposed to design flaws that weren't caught until testing. In this case, a gas tank that was prone to rupturing. The tank was in the rear, on the undercarriage, with very little structural support. In low-speed crashes, a single spark could ignite the fuel vapors and light the car up
The fuck was that thing? That is nightmare fuel, that Pinto.
like a tanker in Fury Road. But the cars were already in production, and the eggheads had determined that it would cost too much money to fix. This all came to light in the infamous Pinto memo, a glorified cost-benefit analysis which calculated that it would cost $11 per car to modify the fuel system, which would be a total expense of $137 million, versus the predicted $49.5 million in payouts if Ford was taken to court. In essence,
Jesus. People will die. It's more profitable to let them die.
it was cheaper to pay damages than to issue a recall. Do you remember that scene from Fight Club where the narrator says, "My job is to apply the formula. This is it. If the average out-of-court
That is, I remember that scene. Edward Norton.
settlement is less than the cost of a recall, we don't do it." And so, Ford stayed the course in one of the more ethically dubious decisions in automotive history. It was a dark
Halo. Hands down, absolutely. Halo, I thought it was overhyped and wasn't into it.
stain on Iacocca's legacy. And if he hadn't saved Chrysler from bankruptcy a decade later, it's hard to imagine how he would have bounced back from this. Upon its release, the Pinto was praised for having sports car handling, an appealing design,
Sports car handling, too.
and an affordable buy-in price. But it only took 2 months from release for Pintos to start being recalled. And not just from fuel tank issues either. The first 26,000 Pintos were recalled due to accelerator problems, while an additional 220,000 units were recalled over fuel vapors in the engine air filter, presenting an increased fire risk.
Jesus, the car was like literally a death trap in every aspect imaginable. Had a Chevy Trailblazer from Jam, 17 years, huh? Was still running good when I sold it to a friend and got my 2020 Toyota RAV4. Definitely a whole no. Oh God, yeah. It's like when you have a gaming PC for a really long time and then you upgrade. It's like holy shit. It's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
But in spite of this, the Pinto sold well. It was cheap. They crossed the 100,000 unit line threshold in just 4 months and tripled that figure to 352,402 units for 1971.
God.
Eventually,
you know what's funny though, with if like a car came out like this now in the age of the internet, that wouldn't happen because it would spread, no pun intended, like wildfire. I'm gonna have to piss. Why didn't I piss? Oh, I did piss. I gotta piss again. I drank a lot of seltzer and had virtually nothing for dinner, and I'm gonna probably go make another cup of coffee. But no, we won't finish this first. We're only halfway through. Yeah, I'm gonna go piss. What do I feel like giving you? Just birds. Just birds. All you deserve is birds. I'll be right back. My apologies. Took longer than expected to make that coffee. Ah. Shut up, birds. I'm back. Sorry about that.
Hitting a high of 544,209 units for 1974, which is all the more impressive.
Again, like I was saying before I left for 3 hours, that would never happen now because the internet just wouldn't let it happen. Benefit of the internet. Probably would have saved the internet. Do you realize the internet would have saved lives from this car?
Impressive if you consider the public relations nightmare Ford dealt with over the lifetime of the vehicle they branded the little carefree car. Ford didn't have legal issues, they had legal subscription. And it all started in 1972 with the tragedy that ended one life and ruined another. On a California freeway in 1972, a Pinto stalled and was rear-ended by an oncoming vehicle. The gas tank ruptured, and a spark ignited a burst of flames. The fire claimed the life of the woman driving the Pinto and disfigured her passenger, who suffered third-degree burns covering 90% of his body and required extensive skin grafting. A civil jury awarded over $2.5 million to the kid's family and nearly $600,000 to the family of the woman, in addition to $125 million in punitive damages to Ford, a figure that exceeded the amount Ford analysts had anticipated a recall would cost. But
oops,
the number didn't stick, as Ford lawyers appealed the decision and got the penalty down to only $3.5 million, thus, sadly, proving the analysts right that paying damages would be cheaper and retroactively justifying a careless decision. Still, Ford wasn't going to take any more risks on cases they didn't think they could win, and wound up settling out of court on similar cases, for the most part anyway. Over the 9-year life of the Pinto, Ford was the subject to 117 lawsuits, with one of the more significant trials centering on the death of the Ulrich girls in the summer of 1978. The person driving the car had accidentally left the gas cap on the roof of the car after filling and pulled over to retrieve it, at which point the car was rear-ended by a van, causing a fire that killed 3 teenage girls.
Oh, Jesus.
A recall notice didn't arrive for the Ulrich family until 1979, just salt in the wound that was already going to stay open forever. The Ulrichs sued, and in a landmark decision, Ford was charged with 3 counts of reckless homicide by an Indiana grand jury, making this the first time a corporation was charged with homicide. But Ford was acquitted after the defense basically pointed the finger at other manufacturers, claiming that they weren't any less safe.
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
And that this could have happened to anybody. And while Ford did lose a civil suit, they only had to pay $7,500 to each plaintiff. What
Oh, fuck that.
apparently made the Pinto dangerous was a combination of placement and structural support, or more importantly, the lack thereof. The gas tank was centered between the rear bumper and the rear axle, which was hardly anything new in American automotive standards. My Ford Falcon was the exact same way. In fact, this might be the exact same part number for the tank. But, unlike the Falcon, the Pinto had far less crash space between the rear axle and the bumper than the average subcompact, which was already at a crush space deficit in comparison to standard-sized cars. In the court documents from Grimshaw v. Ford Motor Company, the problems were as follows. Number 1. The Pinto's accelerated schedule meant that styling preceded engineering and dictated engineering design to a greater degree than usual. Number 2. The styling of the Pinto meant that it only had 9 or 10 inches of crush space, a dangerously small number. Number 3. The design meant the bumper was little more than a chrome strip. Number 4. It lacked reinforcements from hat sections, basically 2 longitudinal side members. It also lacked structural bracing in the form of horizontal cross members running between the hat sections, meaning the Pinto was less crush resistant than other cars. And number 5. The differential housing had exposed flanges and a line of exposed bolt heads which could puncture the gas tank on a rear impact.
Yeah, you could see him jogging. I've noticed that in other videos.
Complicating the matter of Ford's complacency was the state of regulations in the late 1960s, which didn't take rear collisions into account. When the National Traffic Highway Safety Administration made their proposal to include rear impact crashes in testing, The Pinto was already in month 18 of its 25-month production cycle, with many of the components locked in. In a compromise that prevented them from shelving the Pinto, Ford volunteered to meet the stricter 20-mile-per-hour fixed barrier testing standard by 1973. Tests with a modified Ford Maverick in 1970 already proved that Ford had issues to worry about, with low-speed crashes revealing potential flaws in Ford's fuel system design. Even American Motor Company enlisted their fuel system
The fuck is that thing?
engineers to conduct tests on a Ford design, revealing more potential vulnerabilities. After the Pinto's release, Ford resisted an outright recall for as long as they could, even after the lawsuits and deaths. News magazine Mother Jones, in the infamous Pinto Madness essay in 1977, claimed that over 900 deaths were caused by Ford's carelessness. Ralph Nader went on the offensive as part of his consumer advocacy efforts and held a news conference in Washington, D.C. to basically rake the Pinto over the coals for its lack of safety. This forced a second investigation by the NHTSA that concluded on May 8, 1978, when they determined that the Pinto had a faulty fuel system. Ford argued that the NHTSA were buckling to public pressure and changing their testing methods to ensure the Pinto failed, such as using a bullet car instead of a moving barrier, and testing a Pinto where they filled the gas tank all the way up, including all the way up the filler neck, rather than using a partially filled tank of non-flammable liquid.
But what happens if I wanted to fill up my fucking car? Like, I fill up my car on a regular... Like, you know what I mean? Fuck Ford and God bless the chickens for 7 months of clean balls. Yes. No.
Wash your balls. Wash your balls. Wash your balls. Wash your balls.
Thank you, Gabe, for being a member for 7 months, man. That's crazy. Thank you very much.
The NHTSA investigation attributed some 27 deaths to the Pinto's faulty system between 1970 and 1977. That's when Ford stopped putting up a fight, because there was no way to salvage the Pinto's reputation. The only thing that could happen...
Yeah, at that point, see, it's amazing. Like, that would have spread in a second in 2022. You couldn't do that now. There's no fucking way. A car like the Pinto would be squashed immediately. One of the blessings of the internet, right?
Was more lawsuits and bad press. And so, they initiated a voluntary recall in June of 1978, just before the official order came down from the NHTSA. Sort of the automotive equivalent of quitting before you get fired. About 1.5 million Ford Pintos and Mercury Bobcats were recalled, and then they were modified with safety improvements like a better tank filler seal and structural reinforcements like a shield between the tank and the exposed flange and bolt heads. Contemporary analysis by former UCLA professor Gary T. Schwartz
It's 22 lives that could have been saved. Like, oh, accidents happen. Like, yeah, I get accidents happen all the time, but if an accident is if a death is specifically happening because of your faulty design, it is murder. It is murder. It's not that it's, but you know that you have a car that it is inherently built that could kill people because of how it's designed. We'll lose more money fixing the problem. Who cares if we save lives? That's exactly what Ford said.
Suggested that the Ford Pinto was more or less standard for its class in terms of cars on the road at the time. In fact, he argued that the Pinto was in fact safer than its foreign opponents like the Corolla, the Beetle. Well, of course, a Beetle is a death trap, and the Datsun 1200. But Pinto took the heat, and now the Pinto's reputation remains as a symbol of corporate negligence and greed. In a lot of ways, the Pinto is the equivalent of dating someone for a year and then finding out they're a hollow earther.
So is the Pinto the car that Martin drove? I don't know.
It's like, why can't you just be who I thought you were? You know? Why do you have to toast the bread, get it all nice and golden brown, add crisp bacon, fresh lettuce, and a juicy tomato, only to drop a wet, tangy deuce between the buns? Some people will look at the sandwich.
That is an analogy I did not see coming.
sandwich and say, it's not any more harmful than any other sandwich you might get, or even the, everything's gonna kill you, while stepping over the bodies of the people who died eating it. But even if a sandwich is mostly good, it really doesn't take much to overwhelm the positives. Now in 2021, a Pinto can exist outside of its reputation. It's almost 2022. And now this is a funky, cool wagon. And of course it existed as a sedan, hatchback, and everything else. Two-door wagon. This thing is hip. This thing is cool. This thing will kill you. But now that's kind of the scene. I had fun driving it, even if I didn't get very far or go very fast.
At all.
Bad reputation for a little carefree car.
There were a lot of hideous interiors back then, though. I remember a big story 10 years ago with Progressive. Their client died in an accident. They defended the other driver, then lied about it. PR does that. I believe it, but I got to look at. I don't know exactly what happened right there. Their client died in an accident. They defended the other driver, then lied about it. So wait. I got
more than just frustration from its fuel tank reservoir. Once called it a bobcat or a horse in patchy white.
Colt GT. All right, I'll bite. Oh God,
Say
that's
hello
such
to
an
RCR's
80s.
new camera car. 3rd gen, best gen. All the sponsorships and giveaways have started paying off, and thanks to you, RCR has a new camera car. This is a 2000. All the other YouTubers, they buy expensive stuff. I'm like, no, I need a 3rd gen 4Runner. But thanks to you, we were able to find the cleanest one I could find. This thing has 75,000 miles on it. It sat for a while, and we're gonna go all over this in like a video on the 2nd channel. Come on now, look at this interior.
Wow, that thing looks like it's fucking new.
This is mint. Who bought a 4Runner and didn't even crack 100,000 miles on it? This rules. So click the link in the description to find out about the next one. We already have it
That looks like it's brand fucking new.
picked out. It's going to be a car we've been carefully avoiding for 7 years, but now we're finally going to tackle it.
1984 Plymouth Colt GTS.
God, I remember seeing those Dodge. There was the Dodge version too. I forgot the name of it. They were everywhere in the mid-90s, early 90s, man. Like, you couldn't avoid a Colt.
Turbo. The whole essence of this car, the whole point of this car is this lever. Without the GTS Turbo, we wouldn't have the SRT4 Neon 20 years later. This lever, son.
Dodge Omni. Yes, your mom had one. Yep, the Dodge Omni was everywhere.
Everything that made the Colt GTS Turbo, the Dollar Tree, baby at a quiet coffee shop, yelling while its live, laugh, love mother tries to force her life into a Disney Magic Music Days life with her sleeve tattoos. Your boyfriend is a corrections officer and does cocaine with the inmates. And in 14 years, your handsome little boy is going to get way into airsoft. But you're not gonna see the warning signs because you're spending the days making hetero memes. Guess what? Now Dr. Grande is talking about your son, giving an expert analysis of his...
Oh, God, he's... Hey, this is Dr. Grande, and you're clinically informed?
mental condition. Statistics always win. And the Colt GTS won the award for the cheapest...
He just did a clinical analysis on that woman that was selling farts.
turbocharged car in 1984.
That was such an 80s interior.
Or about $19,000 in 2021. That gold medal for cheapest turbo would have been enough to give the Colt GTS Turbo notoriety, but no.
God, look at that interior. Oh man, that's what you got though, man.
There's the twin sticks.
Not even a cassette deck in there.
You have four forward gears and a 2-speed transfer.
What's up, Bone Score?
This second shifter can be operated at any time.
He needs an applause for that.
At any speed, just like the main gear shifter.
It is
Just
pretty
push
clean
in
for
the
an old.
clutch and move it forward and back. Mitsubishi, or Chrysler, could have printed a high and low on the second stick, but maybe they thought that would confuse owners.
High, low. What's that? What am I, high or low?
What is the hair? That's not real hair.
Is this,
What is that wig
this
that?
for off-road? Does this have four-wheel drive?
Like, is he trying to hide his identity? I guess so.
What's right? What's the right answer?
So instead, they printed a nice friendly star for low range and a neutral letter E for the high range. E for economy, or subliminal E for everybody. I imagine a salesperson
Yeah, what the fuck?
explaining the twin stick to a befuddled customer, furrowing their eyebrows in a vain attempt to understand the situation. Exhausted, the salesperson says,
No, I don't know how to drive him. I never had the opportunity to learn a manual. That's the problem.
just leave it in E. E stands for everybody. And they wouldn't be wrong.
E stands for
E
everything.
is for everyday driving. And you could drive your entire life in your Colt GTS with a hot air or non-intercooled turbo in the high range and be happy. Oh, it's got some pep, you say as you merged onto the state highway to go see the Beach Boys play in D.C. for the 4th of July. Okay, the difference between star and E is a few hundred RPM. So the enthusiast way to drive a twin stick Colt GTS is to put it in low range, put it in the star range, whatever, and then shift 1, 2, 3, 4, and then once you're in 4, clutch back in again and shift from star to E. Now you're in high range, so you're just really treating high range as a 5th gear in 4th gear. Now, 1 low is really nice for...
Everything was so square in the 80s, too. Everything was so square. That was then like the reverse trend was let's make everything round to the point that a Ford Taurus had an oval fucking stereo.
Pulling away from a hill start with just a crack of throttle or spinning the tires all the time. Enough.
Yeah, it is like working a crane. You're right, Crystal.
That I told Mike, Instagram name Spock Nasty, to stop it.
Wow.
I don't want to attract attention while filming. Of course, then I drive it. And then this happens.
There it is.
It's a classy screen. Yeah, it's a death trap, yes.
And it wants to go. It really wants to go.
122 pound-feet of torque is too much for these narrow wheels and tires, and this is probably the only time I'm ever going to say that 122 pound-feet of torque is too much. I imagine that, well, the whole car weighs 2,070 pounds. So this little thing wants to play. But playing with this car, I couldn't immerse myself totally.
Yeah, because it's a fucking, like, paper mache.
Because there's only a handful of these Colt GTS turbos still existing. There are more split-window Stingrays than Colt GTS turbos, but no one is paying $400,000 for a Colt GTS turbo, even if this is the finest and cleanest Colt GTS turbo in existence. Look at it. There's no rust or cracks in the dash. No warning lights from this information bar, which is separate from the instrument cluster. Hey, it's 1984, and remember, computers are coming. Now, the exhaust is as close to the original as my...
That's true, to the point where they tried to over-digitalize everything.
I could find, but it's not the original exhaust. Plymouth Colt. For the man who didn't learn how to set a VCR to record until the 90s, and only then to catch new episodes of Thunder in Paradise. You guys remember what a pain in the ass that was? You had to turn your VCR on, set the timer to record, have
VCR Plus, baby.
your coaxial cable coming in to the
No, it wasn't. He was saying another car is 400K, not this. Of course not. Bought a manual car, no idea to. Yeah, I don't feel like destroying a transmission though, because I know a lot of people. Oh, yeah, I'll learn it. Oh yeah, the transmission's dead. Fuck.
VCR, not the TV, into the VCR, then component cables from the VCR to the TV, which means
Composite, if I'm going to be a nerd.
means you're controlling your TV from the VCR. You're changing channels on your TV from the VCR. So you have to set the channel on the VCR to the channel you want to record, and then you set the time for when it records. And then you get home from wherever you went and just pray that the show recorded. Now, DVRs with bottomless hard disk space exist, and I don't even have cable. Welcome to the captive import market, where a car's manufacturing is outsourced to foreign automakers and then imported back for domestic sale through the dealer network of home brand. The manufacturer could be a subsidiary, a partner, or a completely separate company with whom the automaker has reached a licensing agreement. It could be done for any number of reasons, but the most common tends to be filling a hole in the fleet that would serve a demographic no other model in the lineup reaches. In this way, the domestic automaker isn't eating the entire cost of production, and a foreign automaker gets the benefit of the parent's brand's distribution outlets. This is how Chrysler and Mitsubishi helped each other out, beginning in 1971, with the goal of helping plug up Chrysler's compact shortcomings and get
Where the hell these people find these clean old-ass cars, man?
Mitsubishi a foothold in the United States. The Colt was the product of this arrangement. Fast forward to 1984, and the Plymouth Dodge Colt persists as the little compact that could.
Like, I thought all these things were in fucking trash heaps somewhere.
Come to think of it, this...
Like, does anyone have a working, like, Yugo still? Remember the Yugos, those pieces of shit that you could, like, literally lift with, like, 2 people?
The same is true of this car in 2021. Boxy 80 cars are the new hotness, along with 90s stuff. It's the only thing the kids want more these days than a lifetime supply of V-Bucks and a shout-out from Sonic Fox. And it's the type of car that will prompt round after round of leaning in the doorway storytelling, as Dad talks about the time he and his friends went tooling around town for some casserole puss. Now, while we were filming this, 2 people came up and wanted to talk. One said to no one in particular, "Man,
Well, at least the wig is off.
bought 2 of these," before asking how much for this one. And then a second man who rolled up to reminisce, calling it, quote, "This is my first drinking and driving car." This
Oh, that's good. That's a... What a heartwarming story.
guy didn't even idle. He stopped his truck in the middle of the parking lot row at an angle, turned the engine off, hung his head out the window, and he was ready to fire off live rounds of day-drunk sentimentality. This is one of these guys who wakes up for Bankers Club gin and Nikolai vodka and pineapple juice and just keeps it rolling all day long. He even looked like he smelled.
Hello, fuzzy friend.
And it was surprised to get wide-eyed looks from the pickup truck mafia, if only because this is a car that's so transparently foreign. But that Plymouth Dodge branding gives the car a seal of domestic approval. Of course, being a middle-aged dude from the boonies doesn't preclude an appreciation for Japanese cars, especially ones that paved the way for the performance of the 90s. These Colts weren't as respected as other compacts of the era by the time
They were everywhere, though. Not the turbo one, but
they were put out to pasture.
Everywhere.
Filling a legacy as an economy hand-me-down. You could get one
Dodge Omni too. You couldn't avoid these things. They were in everywhere you went to shop, every school you went to, there was like 1,000 of these things.
Of these used for a box of old VHS tapes filled with all 22 episodes of Thunder in Paradise. The engine here is the Mitsubishi 1.6 single overhead cam turbo, designation 4G32B, making 102 horsepower at 5,500 RPM and 122 pound-feet of torque at 3,000 RPM. Transmission is the 4+2 speed manual twin stick, since Mitsubishi only had rear-wheel drive at the time. So the 4+2 was their way to change things up without having to reinvent the wheel. Mitsubishi called this the Super Shift. And it was used in the Mirage. But
And the wig
because
is
the
back on.
transmission was mounted beneath the engine, you couldn't mate it directly to the output shaft of the crank. It needed to take power down from the clutch, which necessitated a separate idle shaft. You also have a range selector because you don't get a fifth gear, so you just switch between economy and power when you're in fourth. This also has a secondary air injection by way of the MCA jet, which is basically just
How many horses?
Just swirl.
Though? He said the pound-feet of torque, not horses.
there
though.
around. The Mitsubishi Clean Air was initially used on the brand's own 4G32A inline 4, but with the introduction of the MCA jet utilized on this 4G32B, you had a device that offered better combustion and allowed the air and fuel mixture to move through faster thanks to a third valve that was separate from the intake and exhaust valves. You can smell the 80s blasting out of it, and the faint
Oh, of course. These things were, like I said, plagued everywhere, these things.
echoes of Genesis somewhere in the distance between
102? That turbo was only 100? Jesus.
here and the all-night bowling alley.
But I guess it was so light it
This
didn't
Colt
matter.
goes from 0 to 60 in 8 seconds and claims over 30 miles per gallon in the brochure. With
Which for that little tiny fucking thing was actually pretty, especially back then too.
ads declaring pavement scorching performance made affordable. It's a bold claim, but not altogether untrue, especially for its time. At the time, you had major auto publications like Motor Trend stating that the Colt promises to be the pocket rocket of the year.
My grandpa still drives his Yugo he bought for $200 when he immigrated here in the 90s, and my mom still drives her 80s Toyota van. How the fuck does your grandfather still have a working Yugo? Holy shit.
Year, and Car and Driver declaring it has the power and the car is coordinated enough to let you turn that power into serious rip around speed. In reality, it's above average fast, but what makes it fun is its lightness. It was significant not just for being an early forebearer to Japan-influenced American performance, but it was also, in the most simplistic terms, a really fun car. The type of car you can justify romanticizing. Too often, to romanticize a car from the 80s is to just set yourself up for the kind of disappointment that comes with digging up a time capsule. It was like that with my 88 MR2. It was fantastic to look at. I loved it to death. Really not that quick. But a Plymouth Colt is a car that lives up to the hype that it doesn't get, as much as any economy compact from the 80s ever could. Because this was 1984. This was
And cars were dog shit slow back then.
long
Because that's when the emissions were like, they were still figuring them out.
before a man with flea market hair could get a syndicated action show called Thunder in Paradise. Everybody was fighting over this car when Mike spotted it on the Obscure Cars for Sale group on Facebook. But out of everybody making offers for this car, Mike was the only one willing to show up with money. Now, as of filming, the odometer is about 75,000 miles. The car's history, presumably this was barn kept in Ohio forever. And Mike got most of the parts to fix it after it had been sitting for a long time from Rock Auto. Prices were all over the place, and sometimes he was buying the very last part number for this car that was available on the website. Parts are difficult and
I believe it, because who the hell still has one of these and is trying to upkeep it?
expensive to find for something like this, and if you mess up the one thing, you're screwed, as is tradition. This is a fantastic and happy vehicle, and most of them don't exist.
And that fake wig is flying in the wind.
Because it's a non-intercooled car. That doesn't mean people got rid of them. It means they say, well, if it's this good without an intercooler, let's put an intercooler on and crank up the boost. Boom! There you crack the head or you bend a rod. In the spirit of the SRT4 Neon, this car was made to make 100 to 110 horsepower. That's it. Just like the SRT4 Neon was made to make 250 horsepower. Right. But you go for more and you break something. The only way to make this make more power, the engine's got to come out, and you got to replace all the internals. You got to put ARP head bolts and everything else to hold the engine together. Same with the SRT4 Neon. You just crank up.
It's interesting how they went with like the same turbo I used to see on like Porsches.
The boost on one of those things.
It's the font.
And kaploom. But this was the beginning of the Iacocca era, where he was just getting Dodge, and Chrysler, and Jeep, and everybody off their feet. And then this thing leads in.
On their feet, I think you meant.
It's one of the greatest cars they've ever made, and I'm going to save it for another time. And my closing thoughts. In 1984, these were cars that were privileged for their economy and less for their performance. But today, it's mostly the other way around. It's a reversal of how we measure value. Regular cars, in particular, are often viewed for what they are rather than what they could be.
No, they didn't use the same font. Never mind, I'll shut up. That's a totally different font.
People will see a run-of-the-mill sedan or SUV and take it at face value. That's all that car ever could be. But over time, it feels like car enthusiasts have gone from idolizing expensive dream cars that come preloaded with spectacle in favor of creating a dream car themselves, even if that just means bringing it back to a functioning level. It can be every bit as rewarding to know that you're the reason this car is still on the road, whether it's a young driver making the best of his youth or an older trucker who wants to recapture it. The potential of a fun, cheap turbo car like this far exceeds what appearances would suggest. The Colt GTS Turbo was not perfect, but even in the realm of dream cars,
but the non-turbo versions were everywhere.
Perfect is never perfect anyway.
Hey guys, Roman here. The annual RCR Christmas song is officially available. It's called Santa Swap.
All right, it is midnight, man. Man, I've been streaming for a while. If you combine the two streams, I forgot. All right, guys, I'm heading out for the evening. I'll be back tomorrow with content. I got to do a video on this bad boy. So I got to get that going. Tomorrow anyway. So have a great evening, and I'll be back tomorrow with more content. Have a good one.